Today on Pro Church Daily, we're talking about why your church is vulnerable and how young people can help.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Daily, the show where in 10 minutes or less you're going to get a daily dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus. While we try and navigate the biggest communication shift we've seen in the last 500 years, I'm your host, Alex Mills, joined as always by the boss man, it's Brady Shearer. And today, we're talking about why your church is vulnerable and how young people can help.
I want to start off this episode of Pro Church Daily, Alex, by reading a message that I received that is very prototypical of a common attitude I see amongst churches towards young people.
Okay.
It reads, "It would be a mistake to shelve generations of leaders just to get millennials involved. Another issue, millennials don't tithe nearly as much as the other generations have, from church sources I have read. That is a big problem." And I'm just using this as a launching pad. Again, a common attitude towards young people within the church, but there's another side to this coin that we really need to pay attention to. So, follow along with me as we head down a little bit of a rabbit hole. This may be one of the most important episodes of Pro Church Daily ever, so stick with me.
To our listeners, join me as I sit back and relax and listen to Brady.
YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. It's the second most popular website in the world, even more popular than Facebook.
Wow.
What few people understand, though, about YouTube is that it is a search engine.
Right.
We think that it's this giant video catalog. No. It's a search engine because that's how users actually use the platform.
Yeah.
And so, for instance, when we're thinking about how YouTube gets used as a search engine, the search term Bible translation receives more than 70,000 unique monthly searches on YouTube in America, according to the YouTube keyword research tool that I use, keywordtool.io. Interestingly, it also has that keyword in particular has a 0.1 competition grade, which means that it is incredibly low competition, meaning it's people should be making more videos, but nobody is.
Yeah.
So just think about that for a moment. And I did another keyword search that was even more telling. It was for the keyword Bible study how-to. And it had more than 500,000 unique searches every month only in America.
That's incredible.
So every single month, more than 500,000 searches in America only, people looking how to study the Bible.
Right, these are the questions they're asking.
I don't understand this. Like, how am I supposed to study this Bible? Is my translation accurate? Which version is the best? What am I supposed to do? And here is the kicker. Here's the most important thing. Because what was so sad is that I did this search for that keyword, and on the first page results, I couldn't find a single church or pastor within the first 50 videos.
Oh my gosh.
So 500,000 people in America every month searching the second most popular website in the history of humanity, saying, how should we study the Bible? And the church is quite literally silent.
Wow.
Now, there were some notable results that did show up in those first 50 videos that I want to talk about right now. So, the first result was for a Joyce Meyer video.
Okay.
The video was in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Not great.
So made for a 15-year-old television. And it wasn't even posted by Joyce Meyer or a member of Joyce Meyer's team. It was ripped from TV.
Of course.
And then uploaded to someone's personal channel.
Right.
It was the first result I saw that was actually of a person.
So that was the
in
highest
church.
ranking.
It was like number 2, but of
the church world.
Of the church world result,
Yeah.
that was the first one. Second one, Charles Stanley. Again, ripped from TV and uploaded to someone's personal channel, completely unaffiliated with Charles Stanley.
Wow.
And the third result that I saw, R.C. Sproul. 4:3 aspect ratio video. The video was recorded 13 years ago.
Okay.
The point I'm trying to make is that of the very few videos that did show up with the search term Bible study how-to that could be connected to the church world, even if it was a little bit indirectly, none of them were made for YouTube,
Right.
and none of them were current, at least 10 years old, all of them.
Wow.
What's the bottom line? Every month in America, more than 500,000 people searching YouTube how to study the Bible, and within the first 50 results, not a single pastor or church has made a YouTube video answering that question. The second largest search engine in the world, the second most popular website in the world. 95% of Gen Z says they use YouTube. 50% say they could not live without YouTube. And the best that we've got are 10-year-old videos bootlegged from television and uploaded to YouTube.
Wow.
Why is this? We are still obsessed as churches with the Sunday morning service.
Absolutely, we are.
We say to people that are asking the question, how can I study the Bible? We say, come to service and we'll tell you.
Yeah.
We say, come to our building and you can get the answers that you need. We are not going to them. We are still demanding that people come to us. We're living through the biggest communication shift in 500 years. This is perhaps the perfect example that I can think of. 500,000 plus searches. People asking, how do I read the Bible? How do I study the Bible? And the church has got nothing. Nothing to say. Why? Well, because we're investing so much of our resources, energy, time, creativity, volunteers into Sunday morning, bigger show, better assimilation, more growth, more butts and seats, and we are neglecting everything that's happening around us.
Yeah.
You know who else neglected everything happening around them? Toys R Us, Sears, Blockbuster.
Gone.
Extinct. And churches are in an extremely vulnerable position if they are not able to respond to this incredibly gargantuan, colossal, not stopping, just at the beginning of it happening, communication shift.
Yeah.
Now you might be asking, Brady, it's all good. What does that have to do with millennials and young people?
Right.
Well, here's what it does have to do with young people. Because while churches may not be going into the world and answering the questions that people are asking, young people are. Because while maybe no churches or pastors showed up in the results, the first 50 for the question how to study the Bible, my friend Justin Koo, aka That Christian Vlogger, did. His video was titled How to Study the Bible for Beginners. That video has more than 100,000 views. It has close to 300 comments, and it ranks on the first page. The first page, the first 50 results for the search term, how do I study the Bible, are covered, layered,
just
littered
full
of young people, millennials and Gen Z. Samantha Lindsay, 50K views on her video. Jordan Lee Dooley, 250,000 views on her video. Jacqueline Brooke, 20,000 views. Haley Pham, 250,000 views. Melena Ciciotti, 40,000 views. Joseph Solomon, 150,000 views. The same young people that don't tithe enough to be noticed in their church, that are not nearly as involved, or they're way too entitled, and they don't work hard, and they're lazy, are literally teaching the world how to read and study the Bible, and are going where churches refuse to go.
Yeah, because likely, I don't know any of these kids, but likely these are the kids who were asking that question, how do I study the Bible? And they didn't know where to ask it. And so they asked the internet, and they scroll through YouTube and the first couple pages, and nobody was answering that question for them. So they learned it somewhere. They learned it somehow. They grabbed a camera, turned it around, faced it towards themselves, and filmed an answer and posted it online for free because they can. This is 2018. And they're answering the question that they were probably asking in the first place that they didn't find any answers to. And so they're taking things into their own hands. They're mobilizing this gospel that we're trying to preach in church on Sundays and answering the question for the other 500,000 people that are asking the same question every single month.
The last great communication shift was the printing press. And what it did was it put information that had been previously reserved to the upper class, to the select few, into every single person's hand. It's what led eventually to the Protestant Reformation. And the Bible to this day is still the most widely distributed and best-selling book of all time.
Yeah, it was the first one ever printed on the printing press.
It was the first one ever also. We figured out the last communication shift.
Yeah.
We can and need to figure out this one as well. But if we keep over-investing, drastically overvaluing the Sunday morning experience and completely neglecting the 167 hours beyond our Sunday service every single week, we are going to be in very vulnerable positions. There are going to be thousands upon thousands of churches that close their doors in the next 10 to 20 years because they could not figure out this shift. How do you figure out this shift? Follow the young people, because they're the ones that are doing it.
So do you, and I know we're kind of we may be going over time here, but I think it's okay because this conversation is so important. Do you think that there's still time? Do you think that we haven't missed the boat? We haven't missed the mark on this communication shift? You know, we seized it when the printing press was a thing, and like we just mentioned, the Bible was the first book ever printed, and it's still to this day the most widely printed book of all time. Does the church still have time? Is there still an opportunity for us to seize this opportunity and not miss this communication shift?
I saw a stat yesterday that said only 9% of small businesses are using YouTube.
Wow.
9%. We are still at the very beginning of this.
Okay.
And if you're listening to Pro Church Daily, you're probably in the 10% of churches that are actually taking this seriously. The Christian faith, following Jesus, it's not going anywhere. Thousands of churches will shut their doors because they can't figure out this shift, and thousands more will take their place. The church as a whole, I don't worry about. The individual church that wants to live stream, and I talked to them yesterday, and there are 100 people, and they're just like, we just need to live stream because that's what every church is doing. That church concerns me because they are either unable or unwilling to navigate this shift, and they need to figure it out. Otherwise, they're in a vulnerable position.
Okay.
Featured resource we wanted to highlight for this episode of Pro Church Daily. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Measuring Church Growth. If you want to know how to navigate this communication shift, it starts by recalibrating what you're actually measuring, how you're measuring church growth and health, and what you focus on. Because if you can figure out where you want to get to, and that's actually a good place to get to, well, then you can reverse engineer how to get there.
Of course.
We put together the new rules for church growth. You can find it in the show notes. That'll do it for this episode of Pro Church Daily. We'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Pro Church Daily. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you never miss another video.
Hey, and we need a good hit of dopamine. Will you like this video?
Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Pro Church Daily. Make sure to subscribe to this video so you never miss another one. Man, that was gonna be a good one.